Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. It's our monthly unboxing and tech showcase here for all the latest smart home gadgets. I got a ton packed into this one. You're gonna see all kinds of devices. Let's go. I bought myself an upgrade of something shiny. I swear those don't work. Yes, it is the new Fire TV Cube 3rd generation. This is a much bigger box. The reason for upgrading today, you know what, it's gonna depend on who you are, but a couple of the reasons you might look at this: Wi-Fi 6E is available on that, so that's 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. You might also want it for one of the new features, actually, one of the new ports on this device. On the packaging, they're giving us some optimal placement instructions, actually. You know, at first I thought this adapter was white and I was gonna have something to complain about with Amazon, but actually I have something else to complain about Amazon. I can't get into your, come on, it keeps ripping. There, that'll do, rabbit. That was pretty good. Here's everything you get in the box. Couple of manuals that'll tell you where to go and who to be. Couple of batteries for your Amazon voice remote. There is an option to buy this with the Voice Remote Pro, which I could swear I did, but didn't get it. Then you have the power adapter, which is specifically made for your Fire TV Cube 3rd generation and the Fire TV Cube itself. When you compare the two, honestly, there's not much comparison in terms of the look and feel of this right off the bat. I think the cloth was a really important improvement, and actually the edges are quite rounded. This 2nd generation, it'll still cut me. It's been years and this knife won't get dull. The top even looks a little more refined. The buttons look a little better. Now on the back, you're probably noticing a lot of differences, and I think a lot of these differences are really important. That HDMI input, that's a really important component because it allows you to connect game consoles. You can switch over to watching or playing games instead of watching the Fire TV. And then you can connect cable boxes. Some cable boxes are officially supported. And something really important about this is Dolby MAT, Dolby MAT enabled. So you are going to be able to pipe Dolby content through that. Now, another thing that you can buy with the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation is an IR extender. That would get you the ability to control other devices, although I have found it fairly limited what you can control with that, so maybe have a look at their list of what they can do. The HDMI out, pretty much the same on these two devices, and really the power port is very similar. Now what happens on the older Fire TV Cubes is you have this micro USB, and that's how you could connect all kinds of different things, from USB sticks to a lot of other peripherals like an Ethernet adapter. But this time Amazon gave us a 10/100 megabits per second Ethernet port directly on here and a USB-A. So that's obviously going to allow you to split out those components and do more with this. Now that USB port can be very powerful for connecting more storage, and that can let you get more onto this device in general. But let's boot her up, see what she sounds like. Volume buttons. So here's the plus. That's as loud as it goes, but honestly, it's pretty loud for what is essentially a voice interface. You're not going to use this as your TV speaker. There's the microphone mute button. And this is basically to call up the voice assistant instead of saying the wake word, which you can do. And that's one of the benefits of the Fire TV Cube over Fire TV Sticks. You have the ability to just call up the voice assistant instead of using the voice remote, which does have a button on it. You can hold that and then you'll be able to speak into the mic and give commands to this device. The remote itself, this feels a lot bigger to me. I'm pretty sure it is. Now, that's the voice remote button at the top. Otherwise, you have all the different controls that you might need. You can go back to the home page and there's always this menu button for bringing up additional options. Plus, you have these other control elements for moving around your television. There's the 4 quick buttons down at the bottom. You have the volume and channel up buttons, which would work with those cable boxes if you have them. One other big benefit of this versus, some of the Fire TV sticks, although the 4K Max has this feature as well, there's a live picture-in-picture option for some of the connected doorbells and cameras. You can actually ask for them to come up, or when they're rung, you can have them show up in a picture-in-picture format so it doesn't actually interrupt your viewing. The other nice thing about Fire TV Cubes that you might not know, although this does go back to the 2nd generation, you can connect webcams to this. So that USB port on the back there would allow you to do that too. There's nothing to do now except get this set up, test out the content. I'm expecting it to be very similar to the previous Fire TV Cube and the Fire TV 4K Max with some minor differences, but let's get this set up and see what it does. After playing with this for a while, this is clearly the fastest Fire TV device I've worked with. Moving around the interface is incredibly snappy now, and downloading of apps was fast, plus the resolution came in very quickly off of the Wi-Fi connection I was using, so I'm not even using Ethernet yet. Setup took moments because I could just connect it to an existing account, and that's part of the ease of buying from Amazon directly. Amazingly, in minutes, I was able to download Amazon's Luna gaming service, and Prime members get a few games to play. Now, that's only available in the US, but I'm going to use a VPN that I have access to in order to be able to play those games. I've done it before, and it's a lot of fun. And of course, you can connect Bluetooth controllers, and some of the games use the remote itself. Now, the remote itself is a little bit loud as you click the main navigation buttons. It's a little bit louder than it was in the past, so be ready for that little change, plus the size difference. I really do enjoy that the lights on the device turn off after a few seconds, so you're not having that mute red light sitting there all the time on the device. It just fades away. So from an overall standpoint, this is the best Fire TV Cube and the best Fire TV experience by a long shot. I don't even have a knife. I promise it's not the whole Amazon show here today. It's the Echo Dot 5th generation. Clearly you can see I've got a few 4th generation dots here on the table, but there are a couple of significant upgrades to this. Here's what you get inside the box. You get your adapter, looks like the same as previous generations. It's a 15-watt adapter, plus a couple of user manuals there, and the Echo Dot 5 itself. Now, this is the one with the clock, and I bought that because it has an upgraded display.
Hello, your device is ready for setup. Just follow the instructions in your Alexa app.
Hola, vamos a empezar. Instala la app de Alexa y sigue las instrucciones. Bonjour. Votre appareil est prêt pour la configuration.
I did nothing. It's joined my network. It's fully updated. There's a little button here on my phone that says, okay, do the final little bit of setup. So I'll tap that.
Try saying, find restaurants that
No, thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Here's something fun. You can broadcast a voice announcement to all.
No, thank you. In a lot of cases, this is gonna feel a lot more like an Echo 4th generation to you, because the new features that they have, the 50% deeper bass or more bass put into this. This also has Eero built in. So if you have an existing Eero system, then you're going to be able to extend your Wi-Fi network with an Echo Dot. Now the crazy thing here is all of these Echo Dots, these are Echo Dot 4th generations, they're going to be able to do the same thing as well as the Echo 4th generation. So you don't necessarily need to buy it for that specifically. There is an ambient temperature sensor on here, but let's have a listen and see what the difference is. We're gonna do this at 100. The most important question is, should you upgrade? And just from the music demo, you know what? There is enough of a jump here. It's not massive, but you're gonna notice it day to day. It was definitely clearer overall because of the improvements in the bass, and it was just a more rounded speaker. So I feel like it's worth it from that perspective. The funny thing though was that I could pair the two speakers together in a stereo pair, and it worked. The other big thing that you might miss is there's no 3.5mm output jack on this, so you're not going to have that connection anymore. The other thing is, yeah, these are both the displays, they're in adaptive brightness mode, but the biggest thing is this just looks interesting. It looks much better, and there's more components to it. So they're going to be able to do more, show you different messages on this, and that's exactly what they've done. I do like this fairly light color too, and this is the first one with Eero built in. So if you really need that Eero built in, then you should go get that. Who knows the timeline on getting that upgrade in the Echo Dot 4 or the Echo 4th generation. One of the things I really did like about the Fire TV Cube was when I turned on the mute microphone, this went away, and I don't see that now on this. There are the tap features on this. They're extended over this, so this is just going to let you snooze alarms, but on top you can also dismiss the alarms and calls, drop-ins, and it says advanced. When you look at the tap gestures that are available, I now have pause and resume media. So if something is playing on here, I can tap to pause and resume. So there's a limitation for you actually. I was playing Bluetooth music from my phone and I tried the tap controls to pause and resume. No dice, but now that I'm playing from Amazon Music.
Now, we invite you to relax.
And it's actually really good. Like that's a really nice tap gesture. I'm not feeling like I've tried it 6 or 7 times. It seems to work every time. But those tap gestures are quite sensitive. So if someone's gonna play with the speaker, the music isn't gonna stay on. In terms of routines, you can trigger with the temperature or the occupancy sensor. So that's the same as the previous generation. That's really it from the Amazon Echo Dot perspective. What do you guys think? Are you gonna upgrade? This is a strange looking package. Let's get into it. Ooh, neat looking boxes. LED strip. There's some extra stuff in here. So this is the Govee LED strip M1. Now, honestly, I know nothing about these. I haven't heard anything about these ones, but I've got some extra accessories that were sent with these. So let's just get this opened up and see what we got. I mean, I've had many versions of Govee's light strips, and honestly, the colors are so fantastic. They're telling me to lift, but there's nothing in there. I understand all of this stuff that was in the bottom of the package was supposed to be in the bottom of this. So all we have is a circle. All right, all of this makes a lot more sense. The packaging did not make it, guys. So what you get in the box here, a little card that tells you how you can install it. It's a quick start guide as well. A full user manual, and then a little join the Govee Home application, because that's what you use to control all of Govee's stuff. Then we have the assembly for the controller. Now, this is a fairly large transformer for the whole thing. They're not giving you some kind of rinky-dink deal here. That's gonna go into the controller, which it's a little bit upgraded, a little bit updated from the last time I saw this from Govee. They have still the same 3 buttons. This one should be the music sync. That's usually what it is. And on here is normally a microphone. There's the port for that microphone, which allows you to run the whole strip on a music sync sort of feature. And then, you know what? This connector is definitely a little bit nicer than your standard one that you get with a lot of the light strips. I like to see just a little bit of better coverage for the pins and hopefully a better connection from the other side. And then you get this cable. So this, like I said, this is quite the adapter, quite the contraption to get this all plugged in. But that's because we're getting a pretty serious set of light strips. Now we're getting a couple of alcohol pads or wipes there, and a ton of different mounting hardware to make sure you can get this strip mounted right. Then there's a 3M sticker. I'm sure that's for this, or, well, actually you already got a 3M sticker on this controller. So yeah, I think it's for that. Now the reel itself, very neat looking. You know, it's branded to Govee. This is a very heavy reel. Like, I didn't expect it to be like that, but let's pull out the strip and see what we got. Uh-oh, did I do that wrong? The strip itself is covered entirely with tape. So you're gonna have that. You're gonna be able to go along, get this onto the surface that you want it. It's a little thick, but that's kind of to be expected. There's nothing, like, it's not restrictively thick, so you're gonna be able to bend this quite well. But when you're turning corners, that'll still be a little bit tough to deal with. Now there's the connector pin, so when we're going into this, it does matter which direction you go. There you go. Let's pull this baby out. Ooh, that's just fun. So I think this reel is gonna make it really easy to install. Like, I'm pulling quite hard with this is my right arm. I'm pulling quite hard, so you could actually get that mounted pretty well using this reel. It's not a lot of reels you can do that when you buy LED strips. Whew. This is a light strip and a half. I'm tired. There we go. I made it to the end. These are extendable. That was one of the big questions I had. There's the other side of the LED strip. You can see it's got that same connector that we plugged into the start of this. With Govee's LED strips, you know, you're getting a lot of different effects with these things. So not only can you extend these and put them quite far across your home, you're going to be able to apply some of the best effects out there. They're controllable by Google and Amazon voice assistants, but the connection with Amazon is really fantastic. You get a lot of those custom scenes, you can activate those, and there's usually even a DIY mode where you can create your own effects, which, you know, my little guy loves doing with all of Govee's products. First, I set up the Govee M1 light strips on the bench, and I tested out the fact that you can connect multiple of these strips together and then simply refresh the length in the app in order to get longer runs done. I tested out some of the new features and new effects, and there are too many to talk about. Govee has continued to build out their app in terms of features and in terms of effects. Installation wasn't difficult either, and I even messed up once and had to pull the entire strip off, but because the sticky tape is so sticky, I was able to reattach everything, and the only problem I really ran into was turning corners, which is fairly difficult. Govee gives you clear instructions in the manual for how to do this, but you should know that it's hard to turn the corners and you really do have to have this loop. I probably didn't need to use the clips, but I did just for extra protection, and I did cut the strip towards the end to make it fit perfectly, which you can do at these little junctures. If you wanted to, you could solder between those two ends in order to turn a corner or to extend the strips even further. In the end, it's hard to say anything except these are remarkably vibrant, and with the amount of features that are now packed into them, it's hard to recommend anything else. The only reason Govee currently might not be used instead of anything else is because their compatibility is fairly limited with just Amazon and Google Home options. So you can see always with Govee, it's always just an incredible viewing experience, and this is going to work with all of their other products to make your whole home look pretty fantastic. This one I bought. So let's get into it because it's a pretty big deal.
That's what she said.
Ooh, what a weird package.
That's what she said.
This is the Philips Hue tap dial switch. You can barely tell what's going on the box. I guess Signify doesn't really care about retail. Oh, ripping my box already. Now, this should allow you only to control your Philips Hue lighting. So if you don't have Philips Hue, don't get upset at me right now. We'll try to find a way around it. Wow. Now, I will say, that looks pretty nice. There is not a lot in this box. So you get a couple of manuals. I mean, this one I think is your wireless guidelines. Here's a tiny user manual. You get the wall plate with, on the back, there are some 3M strips, so this would be something you could just stick on, and then you get the Hue dial switch itself. Now, it is a magnetic, and there's a little notch in both of these that you can get that dial onto correctly. So they're just making sure that you have it right. Obviously, you could take this with you because it's Zigbee, it's wireless, and there's just a little battery in it. Now you have 4 different buttons for scenes on the device, and you have the dial. It's a 2032 in there. It's quite a deep compartment for that battery. So there is a setup button inside. Really hard to see that one, and otherwise this device is done other than your physical installation, which you could do a ton of ways. That's not magnetic, but you've got a magnetic wall plate to go. So I went through the manual for the Hue dial switch, and it's actually very different than I thought. This could be used without a Hue bridge at all. You can just pair it directly to a light. So this actually removes the requirement at some level for that, as long as you're good controlling it from here. Now you can pair it obviously directly to the hub. You got a long hold on here. There's the setup button inside of the compartment as well to get that all paired and working correctly with the hub, but you can actually just hold this within 10 centimeters of a Philips Hue light. You're able to pair the two directly together. Working with the Philips Hue tap dial switch was incredibly easy, and the configuration inside of the app is almost limitless. For each button, you have a press and hold. You can't configure the press and hold, it's always lights off. But whenever you hit the press button, then you get a number of different behavior options depending on the lights that you're controlling. For a lot of the rooms, you will just find the options between a single scene, a scene cycle, and time-based light. Now, time-based light means that you can set different times and different behaviors around the color temperature of your lighting. The scene cycle allows you to move between different scenes that you have associated with your lights. And the dial itself, I configured to use different lights throughout my home, so you can really customize which lights you're using. The one thing that I ran into was that I had to create some zones in order to use the color features, and I wasn't getting dynamic scenes just yet. Although I do expect dynamic scenes to work, it's just I can't get it configured right yet. Now this might be one of the first ones out the door, and that's always a dangerous situation when you're someone like me, because you could spend a lot of time on devices that are brand new, like the SwitchBot blind tilt controller. Now, I have a few of these inside of the box, and I've got some of these. So I ended up with 3 of these. I'm only gonna get one of them opened up today. There are certain blind installations that are going to work with these, but this is something that we showed on our interview with SwitchBot. And if you haven't watched that, they still have more interesting products to come. On first impressions, this is a lot smaller than I thought it was gonna be. They're saying there's a 2000 milliamp hour battery inside of this device. Honestly, it's not even a hand length. So I'm quite surprised at what I'm holding in my hands here.
That's what she said.
There's a little charge port on the top, a little button on the bottom. Looks like there's a little light or LED indicator, and I think this is gonna pop off. I don't wanna break it just yet, but yeah, it looks like if I push that up, that opens up. That's how you're gonna get it over your existing blinds there. Here's what we get in the box. Here's the main blind and tilt shade unit. Here's the solar panel with its own attached cable. That's gonna go in the top here. There's a little locking mechanism on it. Now I can lock that on there. This is called the Open Flex holder, I think. Open Flex coupling. Here is the cord holder of some sort. We still have a Type-C power cable. Obviously that'd be for charging if you weren't going to use the solar panel. Maybe some of your installs won't have that. There is a pin to release here, and then these are some adapters. It's saying a number of different sizes. So S right there, here's a medium one. It looks like an L, and I bet you there's an XL. Plus there's some screws here and an alignment sticker. So from what SwitchBot is telling me in the instructions here, this is actually the last stage of the process, but it looks kind of cool. Now, you're gonna basically find out the size of your curtain rod or your blind rod that's hanging down, and this is gonna twist it for you. So you're gonna use one of these adapters. You're gonna end up probably using this one, and I think these go on the inside of this, and then the whole mechanism is just basically gonna turn it for you. So I can see a little gear inside of there, and you're gonna make that, you can see that little connection there. That's how it's gonna twist things. So, you know, we're back to like grade 4 science here, people. With gears, but it feels incredibly effective in terms of a turn ratio. I don't think it's going to use a lot of energy, and they are saying a lot of battery life on that one. I think this is gonna be pretty fun for someone. Maybe just one person. Maybe a few. Yeah, this is somebody's t-shirt. His name is the Bearded Tinkerer. Should be Tinkerer. But look, I got a shirt. Now, it feels nice. Looks like the right size. Should I try it on? On camera? You dirty people. I'm not doing it on camera. Ugh. Huh? I feel so strong in this shirt. Good fit there, old bearded one. So anyways, my home is definitely smarter than me, but only when there's power. This is going to be one of the most exciting demos I think I've done on the channel. Now, the last time I got a box from these guys, I couldn't say their company name, so I got it this time, Sinope. Now, they are a Canadian company, and actually, what I have in the box here has won quite a few awards around the industry. Wowza. Wowza! We don't need the box. Low voltage thermostat. Works with Apple HomeKit, SmartThings, Google Home. Look at how many things they got on the back. Smart thermostat for electric heating. Again, all the compatibility you could ever want. Smart floor heating thermostat. Again, let's have a look at that compatibility list. Now these are all Wi-Fi units, but they do sell a whole lineup of Zigbee units as well. I'm gonna start out with the one for electric heating. Now they're saying that this is a 3,000 watt maximum on here. Okay, but there are other units, there's other accessories, there's other things that you can buy. So here's what you get in the box. You get your thermostat. The thermostat comes with a couple of cables, and you can see the mounting and the specifications on the back. I have HomeKit tags, both on the side here that I'm gonna peel off. And then one on the back if you ever need to get to that. There's 4 different little pamphlets and manuals, and you're getting some very, very simple hardware for mounting this and getting it connected to your electric system. There's a little lock and unlock on the bottom here, so we're gonna get into that, see what's in there. So I unlocked the bottom, and here's what I've got. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This thermostat's going to be compatible with baseboard heaters, convectors, both of those are short cycles, fan forced convector, that's a long cycle device, and a radiant ceiling heating device. So that's kind of one of the ones sitting up at the top. Let's get the low voltage one opened up here. Now, I can tell you, I've seen the NevaWeb app. I've used it. I used it with the valve or the valve actuator that they had sent me a few months ago. I was very impressed with that device. Actually, very impressed with the application as well. And a lot of their engineering, they're doing the engineering in-house, and I think that's really important. You know, I used to work in an engineering house, a very small one, and I know how those kinds of environments can produce really interesting things. So here we have, this is the low voltage version. There's your contacts on the back for installation. They're kind of sticking out just a little bit, which I think you'll find is fairly normal with a lot of these. On the front, we got a little bit larger of a panel. So what you get in this one is your thermostat. You get a little more mounting hardware, a few more things to do there. Honestly, I think it's 2 more screws. You get your Apple HomeKit integration guide. They've given you a guide for how to mount this on the wall, and then you have a couple of installation guides because we're in Canada, in English and French. Let's get this one unlocked. See what we got inside there. I like how simple this unlock mechanism is to get this all pulled out of here. Now we get to see some stuff. All right, you can see everything in there. That looks absolutely fantastic. Now, sounds of tech. Yes. You know, I'm really starting to love that. It's like an obsession. Here's the back component. So these are the 2 pieces. You saw how easy that was to take the front panel off. That would be seconds to get in there, do maintenance, see your HomeKit tag again, and it's in the device. Very simple to install with the guide. Like, that is gonna be absolutely seconds to put into your wall, make those connections. Obviously, you've got to check compatibility, but really simple unit. Let's get into the floor heating thermostat now. In the floor heating thermostat version, here's your thermostat. You can see the back is a little bit thicker. We've got some extra contacts on the sides here. This looks a lot like a light switch in terms of how you're connecting it, because this is line voltage, so it's using 100 or 120 to 240. And then we get the Apple HomeKit guide. We get a couple of guides for installation, and you get this floor sensor. So this is actually quite a long cable, and you've got that floor probe here basically. It's got 2 little wires, so I imagine we're gonna have to get that connected in here. Everything is really well labeled. So you've got the load side, the line side. They're being very clear with how you're gonna get this connected. Let's get it unlocked. Again, such a simple little mechanism there. On the inside, you can see the extra connections that you're gonna be making. Down here, you've got the Sinope sensor right there that you'll connect. And then they've got some additional auxiliary inputs there. So I'm not sure what that's about. There's a little reset and test on the side. I'm thinking those are essentially a GFCI. But here's the inside. Again, you're gonna be able to take this panel off. It looks exactly the same as the other one. Design looks very similar. I imagine there's just some transforming going on in here to make this exactly the same as this one. So there we go. We've got all 3 of these opened up, but kind of hard for me to install 3 different thermostats. So let's do a demo. Okay. Not an easy thing to do. Let's shake. Oh, this is gonna be cool. I got a lot of peanuts in here. Okay, wow. Okay. Whew. Wow. This is gonna take me a few minutes. Ow! Yeah, we got the whole thing. It's all set up right here. We're gonna be able to do a whole demo. I'm gonna probably catch my house on fire. That's cool. Let's get this plugged in. Now, let's see that display. There it is. Couple of things on this panel. So very simple to set right here. You just up and down with the buttons. Very simple. So you're setting your temperature. You can see the current temperature at the bottom there. Up at the top, they do have the Wi-Fi symbol sitting there for this, and that tells you that it's currently connected. I can feel the heat coming off of this thing already. So this is the smart thermostat for electric heating. This is the one that we're using. But when you look at the interfaces on the other devices, there's not a lot of difference between them. So, you know, you got the longer panel, or you got the longer display, but otherwise they're very similar. This is gonna get hot. Whew. So a couple of things you're gonna find with these devices is this is a fully lockable display. It's a fully lockable device. So in a lot of rental situations, that's gonna make sense for you. You can actually restrict what the temperatures are that they can set so that you're not running into, oh, somebody set the thermostat to 30, left for 2 weeks, and now you have a huge bill in the place. Or down and you got frozen pipes. The other thing is this is detecting the load that's connected to it, and then it's applying the appropriate heating or the appropriate power to the element. So there's a lot of on-device decisions being made here. A couple of really interesting features with these. You know, you've got scenes and you've got schedules, and there's even, you can set 8 different periods throughout the day, and on every day you can have a different schedule going on for this. But one of the best features of these is energy reports, and this works in the NeviWeb app, so you would have to use that and then connect to the other platforms that you can, but of course you can do that with Sinope. Now those energy reports, they can do that with water too if you have the flow meter on the valve that I showed a couple of months ago. So really impressive software that actually goes with this. They have both a web app on PCs and then an app on your phone too. There is geofencing on these as well with the NeviWeb app. I'm sweating bullets here because it's been consistently heating up the room, but I love being able to display what these actually look like for you and let you see a whole neat lineup coming from a growing company. Insane in the membrane. Oh wait, can you see that? Yeah. Now this clearly says it's an air purifier and it has a model number on it, MSA3S, but I know nothing else.
You know nothing.
Manuals. Oh, this is huge. Well, it's not huge. Is that it? Is that all? Is that it? That all? Ooh. Slide her out. Here's what's in the box. Little quick start guide, bigger manual, and a air purifier. There's a fairly long cable on here, and actually, although it kind of looked large at first glance, you know what? It's pretty light, pretty small. There's a nice handle for carrying right here, so that's a nice feature. Nothing too crazy going on. Now, it did say I have to change or get the filter inside, get the packaging off. So it's just a pull here to get that opened, and then there is quite the filter in it. I read carbon filter, HEPA filter. This is all the filters that you could ever need, apparently, if I could get it out of the box. There we go. Now it says to use the MSPure app, but I'll tell you, looks just like the Smart Life app, so I'm gonna actually probably try and put it in there. And there's a trade-off for that. Like sometimes, you know, I could imagine the MSPure app, which I'll still try, it'll say something like, okay, here's how long you got on your filter, whereas the Smart Life app won't. Now, this says non-washable filter. It is just a pretty standard, but, you know, well-built filter there. Really easy to pop this open, close it back up. It's got some nice tabs on there. The construction overall is feeling pretty good. And then we do have a whole panel of buttons on here, and you are seeing that Wi-Fi one. Plugged in, let's run it, see how it runs. Ooh, air quality. It does not like the air quality. Yella. It is quiet. It's in auto. Let's crank this baby up.
Let's crank it up to 6.
Ooh. 3 fan speeds. You get a filter time indicator. Now it's telling me my air quality is good, so it's already done a measurement. I imagine that'll take some time to calibrate, but this is the maximum that you're gonna hear this thing. There's a lot of lights on here, so I'm hoping in the app we can control those on and off. And I can just tap this timer button. Look at that, and I'm getting extra hours, and it's just gonna roll through and timer. I will say, this cable is bugging me in the middle of the demo, but it's nice to have such a long cable. So I've got a sleep mode that I just tapped on, took all the LEDs off the panel. It's running in a really slow mode. Gotta like that a lot. There's also a lock on it, so if you got little kids around, the only thing is with little kids, I think they could pull this off, so I don't know that it's the perfect model for that. You might want to brace it a little or something like that. And otherwise, I'm going to set it up in the app. So it's the MSPure app that I'm going to install, and then I'll tell you how it went with the Smart Life app. Register on cloud, initiating the device. It did everything in like 2 seconds. And now I have all my controls. Easy controls within the app. I can turn it from high, medium, low, sleep mode, and I can put it on auto. Plus I can lock the controls physically on the device. I have a timer, and I have additional settings where I can reset the filter. Plus there's a quick button to buy a replacement filter, either from Amazon or MSPure. Now, obviously, you got to make sure that that actually exists in your country, or you can get it in your country. But that's it. This thing's done. It was easy. I kind of like it. Hi, Dreo. Breathe purer, live fresher. You breathe purer, live fresher. So it's obviously an air purifier, but it says it's got a 3-stage true HEPA filter, and I don't know what H13 stands for, or what that means to an air purifier, but I feel like it's the season of air purifiers. We've seen a couple come out from Xiaomi. They have the P2 now. Wyze has theirs in stock. Plus, I've got this one. I got the other one that I just showed you. This orange tape though, man. Now this orange tape does keep the box nice, but now I can't show you anything. So here's what you get. Quick start guide, two-sided no less. Some more guides, some more cards, styrofoam. Ooh, okay. More foam. Bag of the plastic, and one pretty air purifier. Wow, does that look nice. You know, ladies, if you want to get to my heart, well, brushed silver plastic appliances with smart features, not just food. Now, I will say, this looks fantastic. There is nothing I can complain about in terms of looks on this thing. One of the best looking air purifiers I have seen to date. So, continuing down the path of what you get to open this. You get to pull out the filter. Look at this filter. Woo! Stab. I gotta make some room here. Let me just set this to the side. Now the filter itself is showing some information and what they can handle. Now I really like that they're doing that. It feels a little bit different than other filters I've had in air purifiers. It's got this mesh on the outside, which is a little bit loose, actually. Not like super loose, but there's a little give in it so I can kind of move things. And I think that's just the first stage that they're using on this. Now it's got some straps. They want you to keep that on the outside when you put it in the compartment, and then that will make sure you can pull it out. They've got a model number, and they're also telling you where exactly you're gonna head to get replacement filters. The actual internals of the device are quite simple. There's a big hole for a filter, and then there's a fan up at the top, so you can see that right there. There's not a lot else. The cable is attached. It's a fairly good length cable. There's nothing crazy going on here. You've got a very small adapter here, so you're not gonna have any trouble getting this plugged in. And there's really good, just little words all over the filter and the filter compartment here. So they're making sure that it's really clear what you need to do with Dreo. Let's put our filter back in. So they're really giving you some alignment. They've given you the little tabs at the bottom, so you get those tabs in the appropriate spots. Super simple to click in. Now here's your look at the top before I get this turned on, but let's get it plugged in, working, and see what it sounds and feels like. Turn it on. Oh yeah. Oh, what is, that's a light, there's a light on the front. See, that's actually a really nice default that they've done here. So this light comes on, it looks fantastic, but then it goes off after a few seconds, and so do the controls on top. They actually turn off. Let me walk you through the different controls on here, because they've done some really good things. Number one, there's a power button, and then there is a fan speed button. You can cycle through the different fan speeds, and if you want, you can turn on the auto or the sleep mode, which keeps things very quiet. Obviously, the lights are gonna turn off. Now, the whole interface or the whole LEDs turn off after a few seconds, after you've just turned on the device, and then you're not touching the controls, which is a really nice touch here. They also have an info button, and the info button allows you to cycle through the filter life, the PM 2.5 micrograms per meter cubed, and then also the level of clean air you have in the room. There's also a timer function, and with a couple of the buttons, you can hold for 5 seconds in order to do the setup for Wi-Fi or to get it into the app, which has quite a bit of additional controls for you. You know, just in terms of the looks, this looks very plain to me. This is very much like a kid's room type of look and feel, but this is really fantastic looking, and I love the way that the whole device lights up if you want it to. I really like the design over here. It's a little more tilty than this is. So I would say this is actually a little safer, but I'll tell you what's really good from a safety perspective here. When this is on, if you're running this and the back compartment opens, they actually have a set of contacts that know that this back compartment has been opened. They turn it right off. What's interesting about Dreo is that it can be a full set and forget air purifier because it has the PM 2.5 air quality sensor on board. That sensor tracked very well versus some other ones that I have in my home, so I felt good knowing that it was fairly accurate, although it doesn't have all of the measurements you might be after. The air purifier itself is extremely quiet in sleep mode, and even in turbo mode, it doesn't overwhelm me with the noise that it makes. I'm totally impressed with the lighting situation as I can manually turn the light on or off, or I can leave the device to sense the light in the room and turn it on and off as I see fit. The filter life seems long enough, although there is no stated length of time that it will last, as it's actually measuring the air throughput and the state of your air to determine its lifespan. Although the voice controls with Google and Amazon are pretty good, you will miss the PM 2.5 sensor from both of those systems, so you won't gain access to that, but you can control by changing modes and by changing fan speeds and some of the features on the device as well. Overall, this is an extremely impressive looking air purifier and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I would like to see the connectivity options expand, but I will be checking out Dreo's website for more of their products, as they have fans and heaters and other appliances like this with smart features. I found my knife again. Death to air bubbles. All right, let's see. Today we have the EZVIZ BC2. Now this is a smart home camera. I've had lots from EZVIZ. They've had lots of great products, but this one is a battery version. I was not ready for this. Are you? That's it. Hey, I missed the sounds of tech. Here's a TP-Link smart plug. Here is the new EZVIZ BC2. Now, that's it. And this is a smart home camera. Inside of the box, we also get a stand for the device. Yeah, let's do away with the box. I won't throw it this time, but we've got a few accessories. We've got the manual right here, quick start guide. Looks like some regulatory information. We do have a power cable. It is micro USB from USB, and that's because we have a micro USB port in the back for recharging. It does say it's about a 50-day battery, so this is not a real long time period that you're gonna have with this camera before you gotta recharge it. There is mounting hardware, and that's because we have a metal plate that sticks very well to the bottom of that. So you do have that physical mounting option. And then these just look like a couple of mounting stickers to really affix this if you want to do it that way. The entire bottom of this camera is magnetic. It's not super strong magnetic, but that's enough. I wonder, is the bottom magnetic? Yeah, the bottom is magnetic too. Now, can I stick it to every side? No, only the bottom, which kind of does make sense. But that's double magnetic, so that means I could go on your fridge, any other metallic surface you have in your home, and you've got the mounting all right here. It does take a micro SD card, and I am seeing both reset and power buttons, plus a speaker on the top. Now, with a camera like this, the EZVIZ app, it's very good. I've worked with many of their cameras, so this is gonna be what's expected. The only thing that might catch you off guard is that 50-day battery length of time that exists on this device. So the speaker sounded great there. It's full two-way communication. This is a 1080p camera, so it's not 2K, but I mean, if you were expecting that on this, I'd be surprised. You know, you're gonna have the night vision, you're gonna have everything you expect on this camera. So with EZVIZ, I've used their app before. It's very good. They connect to both Google and Amazon voice assistants. You can display in their apps, although you don't have a lot of automation options usually with those cameras in Google or Amazon apps. So the only thing left to do here is find out how good it looks. Key case. You think that's real? What's going on? Guys, oh, thanks. From Louis Vuitton himself. Gotta be from Louis Vuitton. I mean, there's a bill here. Double card holder. That bill says 350 something. Okay, thanks. Thank you for ordering products in our shop. I didn't order this. Trust me, I did not spend $350 on something Louis Vuitton, guys. I mean, I'm not someone who buys brand names. Except this brand name. This is Automate Your Life brand name. That's a good brand to buy from. I don't know if Louis Vuitton is sending that card. Well, it says Louis Vuitton on the back. I don't know. Maybe, guys. Do you think this is real? What's going on? $350? Do people spend that on wallets? Do you guys spend that on a wallet? It's, oh, it smells good. I think this is real. Guys, it's nice. Oh, it says Louis Vuitton again, and it's in French. I mean, I got, this looks like 6 cards, 4 cards I can count. 1, 2, plus a little holder in the middle. Now, I don't know if there's anything, other special than that. It's got a great print on it. Very nice. So, I mean, I went and I looked this up. I mean, it's priced right on the customs form. And honestly, it smells good, it smells right, and it feels right. And I looked it up on the right website. Everything looks right, guys. I have no idea though. Oh, I think this is for a birthday party. I don't think this is for us to unbox. Nope. What is a Num Nom? I don't know. Num Nom dippers. Not really for a tech unboxing. It's actually for a little girl's birthday. I think that this is from a maker I had on a couple of months ago. I think so. And I think we've got another hard drive something or other. Ooh, pretty. Now this one, I mean, I think this is a jump drive. 512 gigs. That's pretty big for those, isn't it? This is space age. Okay, that's kind of neat. Oh, it's USB-C. What do I do with that? Oh, I guess I've got a USB-C port. Wow, it's heavy. This is, like, if you hit someone with this, they'll stay down. And it's solid state. So 5 gigabits per second. And that's pretty quick for a little jump drive. I gotta say, actually, I like that one. Okay, Automators, that's all I have for you this month. But if you wanna check out our previous months, they are there on the screen right now. Check those out. There's still a lot of new products you probably haven't seen or heard about. And I know that you guys love discovering new tech. So go check those out. Otherwise, thanks for watching today. And of course, don't hate, automate.